Hello everyone, welcome to another Top 5 Records video. Later this week, we'll see the release of the new David Gilmour solo album. To build up to that, I'm taking a look at his entire solo catalog, which is not so big, so it's gonna be a couple of days of videos, and then I'm gonna head on straight to his new album. But it is an interesting adventure. Um, if you're interested in what I think of Gilmour's job with Pink Floyd, look here, I have a ranking of all Pink Floyd albums done earlier this year. But for now, David Gilmour solo. This is his debut album, his first self titled album from 1978, also released under Pink Floyd music. First thing that pops in my mind is the question, why is he going solo here? What's the true reason David Gilmour has to do a solo project? Because Richard Wright and Gilmour at the same time started doing solo projects, both at the same studio, by the way, in Nice, in France. And I'm just very curious because what do we know from Pink Floyd at that time? They did the Animals tour, which was an incredible big tour, and I'm still hoping that we get a live recording of that, a professional live recording of that on vinyl, because I have been listening to live bootlegs, and that tour is just amazing. But that tour is also the moment when there came when the collaboration or the friendship in the band was starting to, to break. It wasn't gone yet, but it started to break. Roger Waters was having big problems with regard to the fans, with regard to a lot of things, and he was moody, unfriendly to be around. So it must have been hard for David Gilmour to be playing because, as a matter of fact, he did enjoy the Animals tour. He was happy doing those big shows, and he was at that moment one of the most incredible, most skillful guitar players around, and he did an incredible job on the Animals record. But the friendship was becoming more and more fragile because Animals itself had some issues with the writing credits because there are enormous solos by Gilmour who helped shape that album in an incredible way, but most of the writing credits went to Waters. So Gilmour wrote solos of minutes longs, and then you have Pigs Have Wings Part 1 and Part 2, both songs from, I believe, under 2 minutes. Very simple songs, good songs, but it's very simple songs, and Waters gets full credit for that. So the total amount of credits on that record is, if you look at the minutes and the input, not fair. Um, so they're not so happy, but things become worse because the Animals tour was a very big success, but it got them into tax problems. They had to pay a lot of taxes, and basically, by the end of 1977 or beginning of 1978, Pink Floyd was broke. So the reason to go into the studio and release something under the Pink Floyd music has to do with getting new finances into the company. Richard Wright did it, Gilmour did it, and Roger Waters understood that, well, the biggest release they can do at Pink Floyd music is a Pink Floyd album, so he started work on The Wall. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is, did David Gilmour use this album to be free of Pink Floyd, or more so Roger Waters, or was he really trying to reinvent himself? And I think uh, I think it's a social thing because the artist he's working with here, um, this is a trio. The record is a basic trio under the name David Gilmour, are musicians that he used to work with before Pink Floyd. So there's this element of friendliness. We're friends and going into the studio and having a ball. You notice that Gilmour is pretty relaxed here. He's good. He's in good shape, and he's also relaxed. I can imagine that the element of making music with friends, out of the sincerity or the gravity of Pink Floyd and away from Waters, may have to do with it because sound wise, um, his solos, the sound of his gear is pretty much not all solos are the same, but it's the same with what he's doing on the ML store. There are moments here, for example, "Raise My Rent." Raise My Rent, the second song on side two, sounds like the way he played the Dogs solo on during the Animals tour. Not one on one, but a lot of it is coming back there. So, is he looking for new territories, or is he really trying to have a break from Pink Floyd? That focus and not having a clear idea of where you are steering towards or steering away from makes this sort of an ambiguous album. There are moments which I think are really, really nice, like the opening track, Mihalis. It's a nice instrumental. I like it. Then the second song, "There's No Way Out of Here," which was the single song of this record. It's a nice song. It's not a hit single. It didn't chart well, but it's a nice song. It's friendly. It's enjoyable. It is not somebody who's screaming out with things to say as Waters is writing for Pink Floyd, and sometimes when Gilmour is singing, you hear an urge. You know, he can sing the right urge to Roger Waters' lyrics, and a lack of urge, inner urge, that's something that already haunts David Gilmour here, at least in the song "So Far Away." That's the first song on this album on which I think, it's not really hitting, it's not really doing a lot for me. And then side two, it's not bad. Obviously, it's not bad. I think it's a good album. I think it's a good album. Um, but I have this sense that there are moments when this is a blueprint for Pink Floyd. For example, the last song, or no, the song "Definitely." That's a blueprint for "Run Like Hell." There are moments in demos during these recording sessions which would later become "Comfortably Numb." Now I'm wondering, is this record a interesting and fun, playful moment with David Gilmour, or was he also experimenting stuff which he would really like to use when he would be hitting the big guns with Pink Floyd? I'm not sure, but let's accept it for what it is, and it's a late '70s fun album with David Gilmour. And what he is expressing might not have the biggest urge. It's enjoyable, it's fun, and I like listening to this album. So I'm curious, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.